Hi students! We have a really fun essential question this week. Our essential question this week is, what shapes do you see around you? There's so many different types of shapes. Let's take a look at a couple of them. There are circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, ovals, and even diamonds. In a minute, we're going to read a story, and we're going to be looking for all sorts of different shapes. There's a couple words that we would probably want to go over before we read too, because you might hear me say them in the story. The first word is nature. Nature is the animals, plants, and the life all around us. This bird is singing a song on the tree in nature. What's your favorite thing to do in nature? I like to take walks in the woods. The next word is materials. Materials are things needed to make something or do an activity. In this picture, the boy and girl gathered some materials to make a birthday card. Looks like they gathered markers, crayons, paper, glue, paint, all sorts of different types of materials. Think about when you make a picture. What kinds of materials do you use? Or what about when you do your homework? So many different types of materials. All right, so when we read our story, be on the lookout for all the different shapes we were talking about. And also, if you listen closely, you might hear me say the vocabulary words. Hey students, now we get to read our story. Listen for me to say the vocabulary words, and also let's see how many shapes we can find as we read the story. This is an informational text. We know that informational text will teach us real things about real people and places. I wonder what kind of real shapes we're going to read about in our story. Let's read the title of our story. Shapes all around. And I can see a couple right on the cover of our book. The shape that I see, this big orange shape, is a circle. I can also see a triangle around the letter A. The person who wrote the words in our story is Gary Thompson. And the person who made the pictures is Stephen Mock. Let's go ahead and read our story. Remember, we're looking for all sorts of different shapes. Whoa! There's a lot of shapes in this picture. Let's read the words. I am making a scrapbook of all the different shapes I see. There are circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles all around. Find the shapes I drew on this picture. Oh, wow. So in the picture, they have drawn shapes over the things that are actually in real life. So let's see the shapes that she found in real life. I see one right here, just like the one that was on the front cover of our book. A circle. And it looks like she found even more shapes. I see 2 triangles. And then down here, way down here at the bottom, she even found a square. Ooh, and I actually almost missed this one. She found a rectangle. Wow, that's a lot of shapes she found just at the park. And I bet if you were to keep looking, you could find even more. Let's turn the page and find out what other shapes she finds. All right, so this page is all about circles. Let's read these words up here. Let's look for more shapes. In the park, we can find circles. So they found a circle when they were playing with a basketball. They found a circle when they were blowing bubbles. They even found circles when they were playing with hula hoops. So you could blow circles. You can even play with circles. Notice how I started reading from the left side and then we read the right side. So let's take a look at the right side now. Look at all these rings. There are many, many circles. You can climb up, up, up. Can anybody else see another circle in this picture besides the rings? Ah, the ball is shaped like a circle. And I even see circles on the ball. Wow, so many circles. Let's see what shapes are on the next page. Remember, we always turn the pages, starting from the front and reading towards the back. All right, so these pages are also about circles. Let's read the words. Wheels are circles that go round and round. Wheels can take you where you want to go. And I noticed they're riding their bikes in nature. Very cool. See the circles in the parade? The umbrellas are bright and colorful. How many umbrellas do you see? Wow, there's a lot of umbrellas. Is there a way that we could figure out the answer to our question up here that we read by looking at the picture? Maybe we could count how many umbrellas are in the picture. Let's count. If you want to count with me, get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So there are 23 umbrellas. We answered our own question by looking at the picture. I wonder what shapes we'll learn about next. So this is a different type of shape. This type of shape is called a square. Let's read the words. Look out the window. You're looking out of a square. All 4 sides on a square are the same length. So on this window, they are all the same size. He's looking through squares. Same with this picture. I can see the different squares in the window. There are 4 squares in the middle, and then the window itself is a big square. So many squares. Let's keep reading. You can even play games on squares. Move around these squares. This is a game called Hopscotch. I love playing Hopscotch. And there's even squares in these games down here. How many squares do you see in each game? It would take us a long time to count all these squares, but I know that I can see a lot of different squares in these pictures. If you want to pause the video and try to count the squares yourselves, you could do that. Wow, even more squares. Look at these squares. Some are big, some are small. Count them all. So I bet we have time to count all the different squares on this page. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I bet we could even count the whole sandwich as a square too, which would make 13 squares. That is a lot of squares. On this page, this is a quilt. And the quilt is made up of many squares. All the little squares make one big square. And this type of big square can help keep you warm. All right, now we're learning about rectangles. So a rectangle is kind of like a square, but the sides are not all the same length. Let's read the words on this page. Run down the field. The soccer field is a big rectangle. And there's smaller rectangles on the field too. So many different types of rectangles. On this page, look at the buildings. They also have many, many rectangles. The rectangles are different sizes and different colors. How many rectangles can you find in the buildings? There certainly is a lot. I wonder what shape is going to be on the next page. All right, more information about rectangles. Rectangles are everywhere. Some rectangles are signs. Signs help us find our way. Also, many books, blocks, and sheets of paper are rectangles. So, for example, you may have gotten a sight word list that looks just like this. This piece of paper is a rectangle. We use lots of rectangles every day. Ooh, another shape. A triangle. So a triangle has 3 sides. You can make triangles for lunch. Cut up a square and make triangles, and then eat them up. On this page, look at the building. Many roofs are triangles. When the rain hits the roof, the water runs off. Then the house stays dry. So there's a really good reason why some roofs are triangle shaped. Interesting. Let's learn more about triangles on this page. On a windy day, triangles can be fun. Kites that soar in the sky are triangles. The sails on a sailboat can also be triangles. On this page, the signs are triangles. Has anybody ever seen a sign that looks like that? I have. And then there can even be shapes within shapes. If you look closely at something, you might see more than one shape. Let's pick one picture to look at and see if we can find more than one shape. How about this one? So in this picture, I see a square. Even though it's turned to the side, it's still a square. And then I also see a rectangle. And then what about these in the middle? What shape are these? Those look like circles to me. Wow, so just looking at the one sign, we found way, way, way more than one shape. I bet if we kept looking, we would find even more. Let's look at this picture. It says, look at this picture in my scrapbook. What kinds of shapes do you see? Wow, there are a lot of different shapes in her scrapbook. I bet she needed a lot of materials to make that. Over here I see some squares, circles, triangles, rectangles, so many shapes. I wonder if you take a look around, do you think that you could find different shapes around where you are? I bet you can.